Hello and welcome to another quick video after the first preseason game for Manchester United. Not worth doing ratings or going through player by player and saying this or that and the other, but we just wanted to briefly cover what did we learn from this game, if anything at all. Obviously, for the most part, absolutely nothing. A pretty meaningless game. First preseason, mostly it's about match fitness, mostly it's about nothing. Just getting some minutes in the legs, running around a bit, and you obviously don't have a lot of players in the team. I mean, let's take a look at the lineup for the most part that we've had. So obviously, Wheatley, Mejbri, Rashford, Williams, Mount, Casemiro, Murray, Evans, Fish, Wan-Bissaka, and Vitek. Now, for me personally, the way I look at a preseason and how I see it is you look at it from a structural standpoint. How does the team set up? Where are they standing literally? How are they moving? Not how are they executing, not how good are they, not how are they performing, to see how the team wants to play, because really that's the point of a lot of preseason games, is just to work on whatever you're practicing. I think in Ten Hag's first preseason, we saw exactly how we wanted to play. I think we saw it last year, and some of the concerns last year showed up. Not talking about being concerned now, but over the course of the preseason, I think that's what you want to see improve, is you want to see more visible structure over the course of the season. What we learned was, start with one thing, this kid, Nipan, is very good. He was really good. I mean, he was quality. You could see his abilities. He's only 17 years old. And if there's truth in United being interested in him, then I say go for it, see if we can get him as a young player. Um, you know, it's yeah. I mean, even Ten Hag is saying it wasn't great and the performance was below his standards. No, it's okay. He's probably not being too serious about it, but a lot of it's just down to sharpness and fitness. But I would say my concerns are that you saw a lot of the same problems in the setup that you saw before, where the midfield, especially in the first half, was nowhere to be seen in terms of supporting the build-up. And that was what was kind of frustrating in watching along, is it makes for a very disjointed and confusing types of performance. Now, it's not about, again, disclaimer, all of this will be an overreaction, but the point is, that's what I want to see improve over the course of the season. That's what I would want to see change. 22 shots, low possession, not getting out, even fouling enough, frankly. 2 shots on target. Very little of United having the ball in any kind of dangerous area. But Nipan is good. I learned that one of the things I thought I did see personally, and I think these are some of the structural issues, not issues, but structural considerations you can see, is I thought Vitek, when we were in possession, moved out a bit more. And there was more instances of him stepping up into the back line to form a part of the build-up structure as like an extra passer, an extra person in there. And that I want to see more of. And that I think is something, we can expect, moving forward into the future, to see more of that. So that was one thing. And then, the other thing I would say that I saw there was, in combination with that, this the pressing, the way that they were pressing, you could clearly see Hannibal was in kind of the 4-4, was playing in the Bruno role in the 4-4-2, and he was coming up next to Wheatley and getting in there, and it was a little bit more compact. The lines were a little smaller, the gaps were a little smaller out of possession, and I think you'll see a lot of that kind of 4-4-2 push, and Mount was staying a bit deeper with Casemiro. And I like that, because that is something I would like to see more of, is a bit more of a partnership deep. I don't want to see a 6 with the 8s off in La La Land. And there was a bit more compactness there. So Vitek stepping in a bit more and up more, a bit more of a partnership between the two midfielders, 4-4-2 kind of out of possession defending and pressing shape. Little things that you could see like that. My biggest concern, if I was going to name my biggest concern for the season, is still Casemiro. Because, you know, when you saw Collyer coming in, he was linking up with the fullback. He was moving the ball around really well. He was passing it off to the people who needed it. He was progressing play, getting around, shifting the defense. You were getting the ball out to Harry Amos in the second half, moving up there. There was more. When Casemiro's in there, it's like he gets the ball and just looks to launch it forward or loses it. And there doesn't seem to be that kind of interplay. And that's my biggest concern. I mean, and then there's the stuff that you don't want to say like this. You know, like that's gotta stop. You know, he's still going to ground easily. It's those individual things. And it looks like what we saw last year from him right off the bat. And that's fine. But those are like, just don't go to ground. Stop. Like, just stop going to ground so easily, you know? That's my biggest concern, is I feel like you stick Cobby in this position, it can improve, but then you need someone next to him who's really going to move the ball around and defend and all of that. We need a midfielder. We need a midfielder really freaking bad. That would be my main thing, because I just don't see it working with Casemiro in there. I was impressed with Collyer. I thought he was good. I thought he got about really well and worked within the system really well. I was impressed with Vitek. Made a lot of good saves in there. I thought Mason Mount actually looked pretty sharp. You can still see his qualities often. And, getting him involved and how he's going to play, I think, is a question I don't totally understand the answer to yet. And beyond that, nothing much. I think Harry Amos looked not ready. I've been excited about him. He carries the ball really well. He comes across really similarly to Luke Shaw for me in how he carries it, but his passes were underhit and overhit a lot, and he seems well slow compared to the attackers of the other side. So big step up to men's football that maybe physically is not ready for yet. Yeah, major overreaction, but if I'm going to put it, and knowingly, disclaimer, huge overreaction, but if I was going to put things that I learned, Nipan, very good player. Be very interested in United pursuing a young player like that. Vitek stepping up into the back line, that keeper moving higher. I think there are notables of that. Pressing in a 4-4-2 shape. Big concerns with Casemiro, just in what he's doing and how he's doing it. And I think Collyer maybe does step into a backup role in the midfield next season. He seems to be playing for it anyway. And then I would say we probably need a left back. Malacia isn't going to be fully fit, which is very unlikely. I think we need a left back. I don't think we have anybody ready to step into that role. Early things you are looking at, major overreactions, understandably, but those are the things I would like to see over the course of the preseason to keep an eye on. That was my first very basic initial takeaways. It's not about doomering. It's not about making it into some dramatic negative. I'm just saying those are the things that stood out to me. Okay? Let me know what stood out to you, if anything at all was worth mentioning, in the comments below. And I'm happy to see United back. A week of training. We will go again against Rangers. And ideally at that point have Maguire, Lindelof, Ahmad, Onana back. And so I think can field at least more of a solid first team, in there, and get a little bit of a better idea of it. I'd like to see what the structures and how things look at that time. So that's what I have. Thanks for watching. See y'all later.